Do you think with that being said, saying like let's target the meat eater, do you think labels come in quite potently? Like, are there talks of like maybe not labeling something as vegan purely because of that reason?
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of research that has gone into it. I mean, there's quite lengthy reports that really look into what's the best way to market products. So, I mean, it always goes back and forth. I think it's something that changes every few weeks about what's the best way to attract people. Because, for example, apparently, if you put vegan on a product, it'll scare some people off. But plant-based, for some reason, is more sexy, so and more appealing. So, I think when it comes to labels, I think that it needs to be something that is easily understood, but is at the same time is attractive. I mean, I think that if you want to make a burger, whether it's made out of beef or it's made out of peas, right, it needs to be called a burger, just so people can relate to it and find it familiar. So I feel like in that term, on those terms, it needs to be the product needs to be advertised as a familiar product that people can understand. And at the same time, I think that the plant-based claims should be there on there as well, not too presently or not too vegan-like, but also do it in a playful way. And I think people are becoming a bit more creative with the way that they're advertising the benefits of their products being plant-based. There's a few packagings that now are just saying "cool for vegans" or something like that, so it becomes a bit more hip,
Mm.
and at the same time it's not really taking away any attention from the product, because for example there's one company that I can think of that does this "cool for vegans" thing, that when you look at the product you don't know that it's vegan because it's some sort of like lasagna or something or tikka masala, and you don't know that it's
Yeah.
plant-based because that's all that it says, and then you just read down at the bottom "cool for vegans," you're like, oh wow, okay, shit, it's plant-based. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the labels and how to attract the different consumers.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. And we're always kind of seeing a different shift. Like even in Australia, when you go to the shop, you see like nuggets. And then at the bottom you'll see vegan. Like it's like tiny. Like you almost need glasses to get that. And I think that's really cool. It kind of gives a new meaning to accidentally vegan. Like, oh, I accidentally purchased this vegan thing.
That's
There's
true.
also like
Yeah,
all these different levels. And I guess with the vegan term, a lot of it I would assume has to do with like cultural appropriation. Like you when you see like these protests that are happening that are animal rights related, you don't think plant-based activists. You think vegan activists, and then you see like I don't want to be vegan because then I got to do these things, and it's like this association between the term vegan and what a vegan does. Whereas you'll never see someone who boasts as being plant-based being quite vocal about it. So I think that's a really smart move for the marketplace to then shift away from the word vegan just to attract more people.
definitely.
Um, on that, you've been doing this as over a year with Incubator, and you must see some